All right, we will call the January 26, 2021 Board of Public Works and Safety to order. Under announcements and presentations, I believe we were all on the line last time, so I think we can go right down to consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, never mind, we have a presentation for an ADA update. We don't get very many presentations, so. Jason?
Good afternoon, Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. Every year we do an annual update of the ADA improvements that we've done throughout the year on all of our capital projects and resurface and public works. Last year we did a number of resurfacing projects. We did 2 contracts themselves, and in those contracts we did improvements on Royal Street, Burberry, Auburn Springs, Pleasant View, Sandstone Lakes, Sandstone Meadows, and a number of other surfacing projects inside the neighborhoods, including Lantern Road outside of the subdivisions. During those projects, we replaced over 320 curb ramps, and that does not include our CDBG projects. And including our capital projects as an update, we updated approximately 45 curb ramps. In all, both of these projects combined, or both of these different project types combined, we had nearly 400 curb ramps at over $1.6 million invested in curb ramps and pedestrian facility ADA compliance. Typically, we have found that we are spending 20 to 30% of our budgets for capital improvements as well as our resurfacing projects towards ADA upgrades, and that is still true to this past year as well. In addition, Public Works has their own in-house effort that they're taking to do planing of trip hazards of the sidewalks, in which they have done, for this year, they plan to do Royal Wood, Orchard, Spyglass, Hills and Falls, Timber Springs, Burberry, Lakestone Bridge, and Summerlin Trails. But then they also do panel replacement, and there's a number of roadways and subdivisions that they're doing that, similar to the cutting and grinding of the toe kicks. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have related to some of the updates we've done.
Any questions for Jason?
Nope, thank you.
Thanks for the update, Jason. Appreciate all the work on ADA and our transition plan. Moving on to the consent agenda, I believe we were all here, so is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
I will second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to item 6, we have a resolution request to approve authorizing a payment in lieu of trail agreement. Jason?
Again, for the record, Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. You're going to see me a number of times here today. Actually, number 6, 7, and 8 are all related. And for the first one with number 6, it is the 13031 Cynthian Road payment in lieu of agreement. That particular agreement is Mr. Watson is the property owner, and what is going on collectively with these 3 is that he is taking his property and shifting some of the property lines with the adjacent property owner, Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, and as part of that, they are having to go through the plat process. And dedication of right-of-way and in the trail construction is a requirement for the platting. And these are payment in lieu of agreements due to the unknown schedule of when we are going to construct reconstruct the roadways and construct the connecting paths to these. We are working with Mr. Watson to accept a payment. So there are 2 payment in lieu of agreements. One of them is for $7,500, which is in front of his property, which is the longer stretch. And then the second one is going to be for $2,200. And those are the payment in lieu of agreements. The third one is the encroachment agreement, which is an existing septic system that he has on his property. And we worked with the legal team to come up with a temporary encroachment agreement that states that if there is ever a roadway improvement or some reason that the city needs to get into that because it is in the right-of-way, he would have a certain number of days to get that relocated or connected up to the existing sanitary system. would be happy to answer any questions related to all three of those.
So just so I understand, he's replatting for the purpose of selling some of his property to someone, or?
He is actually changing the property lines and giving some of the property, working with Mr. Robinson and giving him some of the right-of-way lines and property lines.
Okay.
And then this payment would be so that if we decided to go back and put a trail in it or a path at some point, we would do it because he's paid us for it?
Correct.
And he's dedicating the right-of-way, though, to be able to build a trail?
He is. There's an existing building that is there that we needed to work with him to be able to adjust the dedication of the right-of-way so that that building was not inside the future right-of-way that he's dedicating. But yes, the right-of-way is part of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, Jeff?
I'm good, thank you.
Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
I will second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And we'll just continue because these are all related, correct? So
They are.
item 7, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
I will second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And item 8, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
I will second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now on to item 9, and a request to approve a design services with WSP.
For the record, Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. Before you is an agreement with WSP for the rehabilitation of Technology Drive. The engineering department has worked with the economic development and the planning and zoning teams to be able to come together and look at what the best approach to move forward with this rehabilitation of this project. We have reached out to WSP and tried to work with them on setting up the infrastructure so that we can address a couple items. One of them is the existing pavement infrastructure, but also set it up for future planning and the technology for if there was something related to IoT or launch fishers or some other business that may come in, and try to be able to stick with that smart, entrepreneurial, vibrant city. And before you is the agreement with WSP to take this from conception to construction, and the amount of $198,000. I don't think that was in the board action form, and I apologize for that, but it's for $198,000 and I want to say 500. There we go, $198,546.
So my only question on this is, I looked at the schedule. I don't know if Jeff Hill's just dragging his feet or what, but to deliver for bid not till August, so is this a 2022 construction? Or are we gonna be starting to build this and then over the winter we're stuck?
It may end up getting into construction in next year. The goal is to have it substantially complete by the end of the calendar year. If we were to compare this to another project, similar would be Burberry. We had that one not start until August, September timeframe, and we were still able to come to a substantial completion by the end of the calendar year.
Okay.
But we'll work with Mr. Hill and his team to make sure that
He's notoriously slow.
he is.
You have to stay on him.
Is Berber where we had the infrastructure, like the road, isn't that the one where the road?
It's
We
where
had
we took an
subsurface
existing
issues.
concrete roadway and
Right.
converted it into an asphalt.
Okay, and we had subsurface issues there? Do we-
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we feel better about the subsurface?
Yeah, on this one, we've done a lot of preliminary work for geotech to make sure that the drainage and the subgrade is appropriate. So we had some of that work done in advance. We also have, with WSP, we have them looking at it from their standpoint. We're gonna team up with some universities such as Purdue and Illinois to be able to work with their professors in the pavement industry and try to come up with some cutting edge items. For an example would be utilizing plastic bottles in the binder. Maybe one thing that we can come up with that there's some
Sure.
proven technology.
Okay, great.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
Motion.
I will second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is a request to approve consultant services agreement with A&F Engineering to update the city roads impact fee schedule.
Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. Every year, or every 5 years, we are required to update our road impact fees or our traffic impact fees. And this is that time of year that we are due to start that process. The engineering department and the legal team have worked together to ensure that we're in compliance with the state code and requirements. This year, A&F will, there's one piece that is a struggle, is due to the pandemic, traffic volumes are different than what they were previously, and we want to accurately represent what they will be. So that is why really the majority of the work isn't going to engage until after school starts in normal operations, so beginning of August timeframe. But we do have backup plans to be able to work with A&F to figure out a way if that for unforeseen situation does not come about.
Does that fit our timeline for completion?
It does, yeah. I think what the three of us have been discussing over the last couple of weeks is what happens if, the pandemic continues and school is not in a normal operating function come the fall, and being able to have a completion of this study by the end of 2021 in that scenario. So I think we're well prepared for both scenarios.
Okay. Any other questions for Jason?
No.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
Motion.
I will second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is a request to approve professional services contract with A&F Engineering for on-call engineering services.
For the record, Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. Again, this is an A&F on-call agreement that's an annual update, and what we utilize A&F for is some of our development plan review in addition for our traffic signal services. You will notice that this budget has increased slightly, and that's because a number of our corridors have a maintenance agreement that has rolled off of the initial contract amount, and we are updating that and including it in this because A&F has a project manager, Joe Ringel, that is in direct coordination with that manufacturer to reduce those fees significantly by him managing it.
So the maintenance agreement is on the signals? Is that what you're saying?
It is for the signals as well as any other miscellaneous items that we request A&F to perform reviews of. If there is a development that comes in that we need to utilize their services for confirming traffic impacts, this will cover that.
Gotcha. Any additional questions?
No.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
Motion.
I will second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Jason. Next, we have a resolution approving interruptible raw water irrigation agreement. It's just your
Hello,
standard
Sarah
interruptible
Sanquist, Director of Parks and
Yeah.
Recreation. As part of the development of the Geist Waterfront Park, we requested use of water from the reservoir from citizens and to use for irrigation at the park. And this is the agreement that we came to terms with and are requesting approval.
So I laugh a little bit. I've not ever seen an agreement with the term interruptible in it before. I assume there's some intentionality behind that. Like, why does that exist? Why does that word exist in the description of this? Interruptible water supply. Is that they reserve the right to be able to tell us?
That's exactly right. So
All right.
Yep.
in the event that there's a drought, we're gonna, as part of this agreement, we're gonna be metering the facility.
Okay.
And if there's ever that drought moment, citizens has the right to tell us to cut it off for purposes of reserving their water capacity. But assuming normal operations, we're gonna continue to take water from the reservoir at the rates that are prescribed in the agreement. And Sarah can talk a little bit about those rates, but citizens really partnered with us on this agreement to provide water for us for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it sounds like a large cost savings versus
Yeah, it's.
other
500
alternatives.
500 annually, I mean, 3% increase, but yeah, that's.
Pretty good deal.
free
Yeah, it's
water.
500 annually with a 3% inflation increase every year.
Gotcha. Any additional questions for Sarah? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Next is a request to approve a resolution authorizing a sanitary sewer easement on the Heritage Park property for a lateral connection for the single-family residence at 6110 East 106th Street.
For the record, Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. This Before you is an easement that we are requesting be granted to the property owner. This has been coordinated with Sarah Sandquist and the Parks Department. It is a 15-foot easement out near the Ambassador House. Essentially what has happened is the homeowner's existing septic system has failed and is requiring them. There's no alternative for them to connect up to the sanitary system that we have. They are requesting a 2-inch lateral be done and a 15-foot easement, and through our review, we can't see any issue.
Are they currently annexed into the city?
They are currently annexed.
Okay. I have no other questions. Jeff, you have anything?
No.
Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
I will second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 14 is a request to approve special purchase of audiovisual system upgrade in City Hall. I assume that is Mr. Gaynor.
It's like he's being called from the bullpen.
Get the lefty. For the record, Tracy Gaynor with the IT department for the City of Fishers. Before you is a request to perform what I would term as a fairly overdue upgrade to audio-video capacity in this room. It actually addresses several areas, so apologies if from memory if I overlook anything, but fundamentally, I think the main point is that some of the equipment in this room is fairly aged. Some of the core components are over 10 years old. This would allow us to have a more flexible space, a more inclusive space, improvements to video quality, much more flexibility in terms of as the needs and the layout of the room adjust, the flexibility to do that. A major advantage is that it'll be more directly integrated for online meetings, so as we continue to operate remotely and have remote participants, it'll be easier that way. And perhaps the one element I think most staff are most excited about is that it won't require an IT person necessarily to be on hand for support every time. For basic meetings, your ability to record and stream and have meetings conducted sort of independently will be greatly enhanced. This is with Ultimate Technology Groups, who is a Fishers-based company that we've been working with more and more. It does have a pretty significant discount for labor and support. They've included 3 years of support on the entire system, not just the parts they're adding, but the existing pieces that we're keeping as well. And we're hoping to seek some federal reimbursement that should cover up to 75% of the expense. The actual work itself is probably only scheduled to take about a week. We might need 4 to 6 weeks to arrange labor to get all the parts in hand, but happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Tracy?
Nope.
Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
I will second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Tracy. Any additional items, Chris?
Nope.
Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
I'll second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.